In our last video, we transformed these store-bought, giant, spooky light-up spiders into cute, kid-friendly candy corn spiders. And in the process, we didn't use all those store-bought plastic pieces, but they didn't go to waste because we used them to make a giant, man-eating monster plant. Now, just like the Halloween spiders, we didn't have a lot of time to put into the creation of making this giant plant monster. But as we both unpacked those spiders, we thought, wow, those abdomens we aren't using look an awful lot like a plant monster head. So we decided to go for it. The first thing I did was I added sculpted pieces of foam glued to the inside of the head with expanding spray foam so I could carve the shape of the mouth. I also sanded down the pointy part of the spider abdomen so it looked more rounded instead of pointed. And just a quick note, we're always so grateful for any work we get, but because of those crazy deadlines, footage always seems to take a back seat. But we're sharing with you what we got. I did end up adding a little more foam around the outside of the abdomen just to make his head a little bit bigger. And so we could add cute little eyes to the plant monster. Make everything cute. After carving the vine body with the head, it was like 8 foot tall. So I decided to split it at the neck so we could handle it easier and it would fit in the trailer. I added some plywood and some square tubing so the head could just slide onto place. I also added some plywood to the bottom of the sculpture just so when we're sliding it around it doesn't get damaged. I just used expanding spray foam to attach all the plywood pieces and squished it down like a sandwich. We wanted to add more textured features and details like water veins to the vine. So to do this, we attached some old leaky air hose that I had been hoarding for just such a purpose. Ooh, I love it when my evil hoarding plans come together. To attach that air hose, we just used spray foam in a few different places, and then we pre-drilled holes and then just stuck a bunch of little nails right in there just to hold it in place. We covered everything with an aluminum foil to protect the foam from the fiberglass resin that we use. And now he looks like an alien plant monster in a spacesuit. You can see how I added foam to the outside of that spider abdomen. We added pool noodles to the outside of the lips of the mouth just to give it that plant monster look. And then I carved the tongue and each tooth individually and glued it in place with spray foam. A lot of the features that we were carving were kind of on the fly and in the spur of the moment, but I think our inspiration was kind of like Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors meets the piranha plant monster from Mario. After we hard-coated the foam, and because we were out of time, we decided to add a spray texture instead of taking the time to sand everything smooth. I used a hopper gun filled with thin-set mortar and I covered the whole thing just like I've done in a lot of our past projects. The textured finish is a nice little option for covering everything evenly, and then it provides little pits and stuff for aging if you want to do any painted details later on. Another little last-minute detail that we threw in there is we never used the very lower portion of all the plastic spider legs that we had purchased for doing the candy corn spider. And so I was able to cut those down and then drill holes around the plant monster base and insert them as little thorns. Gina had hoped to paint various shades of green and dark washes just to give them a little bit more dimension. But she was at least able to wrap several fake vines and leaves around the stem, which I think really helped out a lot. Gina purchased a few different styles of large leaves on stems from the hobby store that we were able to add around his head. We were able to attach those big leaves by carefully drilling some holes around the head and then using expanding foam to glue them into place. This backdrop for him didn't get set up while we were still on location, but we both cracked up because the image is just so much scarier than our extraterrestrial kid-friendly version. The farm we were at purchased several other items from other people like giant flowers and big Venus flytraps. And a friend of ours created these real detailed little plant monsters that they put inside this tent. It was cool because they set up a little craft table outside the tent where Harrison was able to make all these little cute little paper plant monsters. Hey, speaking of Harrison and plant monsters, A while back, he won an award for creating a pumpkin version of Audrey 2 for his school. He used several different squash and pumpkin seeds for the teeth. He also was able to use a ton of leftover materials from past projects, so he really had a blast. You did a super awesome job, son. Well, that's all the footage we got. We thank you for all the kind and thoughtful comments you guys leave us. We appreciate it. Be sure and let us know what your thoughts are on this project. Was it too kid-friendly? Not scary enough? There actually was a little girl that walked by and I saw her and she was like, "Oh, what's that?" So it still scares some of the little ones. Anyway, let us know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.